Hey travelers, have you ever wondered what it would be like living in rural Japan? Have you ever wondered what the costs were compared to, say, the United States? Well, today you're gonna find out. Today we're going to talk about what the costs are living in rural Japan, small town Japan. This is anything outside of Tokyo, Osaka, Hiroshima, Sapporo, any of the big major cities. And obviously everything that we're going to talk about is going to be from our own opinion and our experience having lived in Japan now going on 20 months. I'll be the first to say that we do live kind of minimalist. We don't have a lot of extra expenses and we don't buy a lot of luxury goods. So you'll kind of notice that as we go through the video. We're basing everything that we are talking about today, all the costs and all the prices, based on what the current US dollar is to the Japanese yen, which as of this video is 113.5 yen to about $1. So it's kind of about. We're going to kind of use a little generalizations. So stay tuned through the end of the video. I'll do a total breakdown, kind of totaling everything up for each of the categories that we're going to talk about. So you'll have a total monthly breakdown of what we spend about on average for a couple living in rural Japan. First one is obviously the biggest, and that is rent. If you haven't already watched our apartment tour, click the I right here. And you can get a better understanding of what our apartment looks like, what amenities we have, kind of what our modern conveniences are here. Again, we live in a small town population of about 25,000 people in Fukushima Prefecture, so that will kind of help you understand the prices. Our monthly rent totals 52,850 yen. That equates to about $465.63. Our apartment is 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It has a living room area, a kitchen, so it's not huge, but it does comfortably suit Kelly and I. Again, we live very nicely, so plenty of space. It has a little Genkan area as well. The bathroom's plenty big. Heated toilet seat, which is really nice. There are some families that live in this exact same unit in our apartment complex that have 4 or 5 people, so I'm not really sure how they do it, but there are people that do make it work. This rate is fixed each month and we pay it at the beginning of each month, and it hasn't changed since we've been in Japan, and hopefully it won't change during our remaining time in Japan. Next up is transportation, and we've also talked about this in a previous video, but because of where we live, strategically located in our town, we live near a train station and everything is nicely located that we don't need a car. So because of this, we have very, very low transportation costs each month. We don't have a car payment, we don't have any gas payments, obviously no car maintenance. On average, I'd say we make about a trip each month to go to Koriyama, which is our next biggest city, and we go there by train. So for Kelly and I to go to Koriyama, it costs 1,000 yen, and then to return it would cost 2,000 total. So that equates to $8.81 US, which isn't really bad. The only other exception for transportation would be my employer who provides me with the train pass, which I take to work every day. So if I didn't have that employee benefit, I would have to pay that cost each month, but otherwise we walk almost exclusively. Again, we go to Koriyama very, very infrequently, and I'm not including any sort of vacation or extra trip cost. This is strictly just an average monthly cost for transportation. So about 2,000 yen a month, or again, like I said, $8.81. Next, we have our utilities. We were very blessed last year in that our employer covered our utilities, so we didn't have to pay them. But this year, our second year in Japan, we are paying our utilities on our own. And we have 3. We have gas, we have water, and we have electricity. So we only have those 3, and the water is fixed each month. The electric changes a little bit. The biggest one that fluctuates is gas, and that's really all depending on how many hot showers we take or how much we cook. So really they are pretty consistent each month, I would say. So our water is 4,242 yen each month. That equates to $37.37. Our electric is 6,500 yen each month on average, which equates to $57.26. And our gas, again, this one fluctuates the most, but on average we spend about 7,000 yen each month, which is $61.67. So the total average monthly cost for our utilities is 17,742 yen, which as of this video equates to $156.31. So that's 3 utilities. Not bad in my opinion. I know back in America some people can get cheaper if they live in some apartments. We actually paid less for those where we had lived before. So it's an increase for us, but for a lot of people to decrease. So not really too bad. There is a special caveat that I would like to point out also. If you own a TV in Japan, you do have to pay a special TV tax that actually goes to the NHK. It averages, I think, like $20 a month. We don't own a TV, so I don't know exactly what it is, but on average, I think some of our friends who own a TV pay about $20 a month. The next one to talk about is our internet. It's not really a utility, so I kind of separate it from that one. But our internet each month fluctuates very little. There is slight increases and decreases here and there. I don't know why. Might be to do with our speed or our bandwidth or how many megabytes we're using. That would be the only kind of difference. But on average, our internet, which I'll say is decent, in the evening sometimes it really slows down. When you're streaming videos like YouTube, it can tend to completely just crap out on you. On average, our cost of internet is 6,419 yen, which equates to $56.55 each month. The next one we're going to talk about is our phone. And this again is not really a utility because it's not tied to the house. It's really just our cell phone. And it's also helpful to note that we only own one phone for both Kelly and I. It's an iPhone 6. 16 gigabyte, can't remember like all the, like how much data and stuff we get. We get unlimited texts and calls within Japan, and the data is limited to a few gigs a month, I think. I can't remember. We've only gone over it twice, and those 2 times we did have to pay a little extra for going over, but it wasn't like a huge expense. It does fluctuate because we pay that with our credit card. It's tied back to the US, so based on the exchange rates, it does fluctuate. So that's kind of a weird thing, but it is fixed at 9,000 yen Japanese each month for the phone. So on average, our cost for our cell phone each month, again at 9,000 yen, based on today's exchange rate, is $79.29. And going back to my point earlier, why we only own one phone, because we live in a small town, Kelly and I can usually get a hold of each other just by calling either a friend or calling either one of our employers. We're usually together most of the time. So we didn't really find that owning 2 phones was necessary, especially since we predominantly use it for the data, for just surfing the web or doing this, that, or the other. Actually, we probably can get by without even a phone. If we can probably just borrow someone's or whatever, but we do only own one phone, so it does help keep our costs pretty low each month. The next one is food, and by food I mean groceries, non-restaurants. I would say that this is probably our biggest fluctuating cost each month, and that's really all dependent on how much we cook and what we're cooking. Obviously, living in Japan means buying Japanese ingredients is cheaper and more affordable, but we don't always want to eat Japanese food, especially since we live here and we're getting it, our school lunches and stuff. When we first came to Japan, we didn't know how to shop, so we had to learn how to shop cheaply and more effectively. We did find that some grocery stores sold cheaper ingredients, like Benimaru has better sales and better prices on chicken and pork and beef than the other ones do, so we'll go there. But we had to learn that over time. So on average, we spend 25,000 yen per month. That equates to $220.26 per month just on groceries. I'd say that most Americans spend more on groceries each month, but it really all depends where you live. We probably spent about the same in the US shopping at Aldi almost exclusively, and sometimes Walmart and stuff like that. So yeah, $220 roughly each month for groceries, I don't think is too bad. And again, this is based on a month where we don't travel to go on a trip to like Tokyo or on a vacation. So this is when we're typically eating 4 weeks out of the month. So now that we've talked about food and groceries, let's talk about restaurants. And again, this is in a typical month when we're not traveling, when we're not going to Malaysia or another country or Tokyo for the long weekend. You might be surprised to hear that Kelly and I only eat out on average, I would say about twice a month. And we typically go to Kappa Sushi. Kelly and I can typically eat out at Kappa for under 1,500 yen for both of us. And because there's no tipping, it is what it is. So the number of plates that we eat, we go, we pay, and it's done. So we typically can get out of there for less than 1,500 yen, which equates to $13.21, and we go to Kappa about twice a month. So that's about $26.43 each month that we spend on restaurants. Okay, now we're going to be getting into the finer things, more of the nitty-gritty stuff. So I'm talking about toiletries, laundry, and other household items. On average, lumping those into one, I would say Kelly and I spend about 1,500 yen per month on those three things combined. Again, that's $13.21 US. And as long as you're not like brand loyal, and you know, coming from the US, you have to have a certain brand of conditioner or shampoo or something like that, and you're more willing to try some of the other cheaper products, you can definitely get out of there concerning toiletries. Laundry, we buy like, I feel like laundry detergent here is really affordable. We buy like a plastic container and then you buy like the refillable bag. And we do laundry, I think I'd say once or twice a week. But that seems to last us a long time. So every time that we do buy laundry detergent, it's not very much at all. And then household items like sponges, like cleaners, stuff like that. This brings us to our last category, which I will call other. This is literally everything else. Because this is not really a budget video, more just kind of an idea. This is gonna include insurance, taxes, medical visits, doctor's visits, entertainment, and then any other monthly obligations that you might have. Our employers provide our health insurance, which is nice, and our taxes are all kind of done directly through our employer, so I don't really see a lot of that stuff. So I'm not really sure on those costs. But when we do go to the doctor for medical visits, dentist, costs here are really affordable. Again, this is, again, completely different than the United States, but it is really affordable. So when I had to get some dental work done for this tooth, 4 times to the same dentist, it's right here in town, I had 2 x-rays taken, and it was all together with all those visits, less than $50 US. And I've only been to the dentist just, again, for that one time, but it was all, you know, that was within the span of like 10 days for the different trips to go and get it done. So yeah, $50 for all of that. Was really, really nice. So again, just to go to the dentist, I feel like in the US, just to take an x-ray is $50 at least, or hundreds. And then the doctor's visits, we've gone for like, we've had like sore backs and stuff. Kelly's gone a few times for other things. It's really, really minimal. Birth control, which Kelly has talked about in another video, is not bad, but those are all pretty infrequent when we do have to go, that it's hard to kind of base off of those things. And then entertainment, I will say we budget about 4,000 yen each month, which we typically don't spend all of it. And when I say entertainment, I'm talking about movies, like going to the movies, or if it's a team event or something like that. On average, I'd say we spend about 4,000 yen, which equates to $35.24 each month for entertainment. And then again, everything else after that, it's kind of hard to break down, and some of it's kind of personal, so I'm not going to go into it. But any other additional stuff that you have to pay or obligations that you set up back to the US, we'd have to include in that. We did have Netflix for a period of time, and we sometimes will go through it, we'll binge watch a show for a month, and then we'll unsubscribe and then resubscribe again. The cost for Japanese Netflix to have the HD quality is 950 yen per month, which equates to $8.42 each month, so I'll kind of include that in the other category just for kicks. Okay, so that covers just about all the categories that we have each month living here in rural Japan. So the breakdown of each month looks like this. So as you can see, 121,511 yen, equating to $1,070 and change. not bad for a couple living in Japan. Again, if you split that for individuals, that's just over $500 for both of us to live here in Japan. So it's pretty good in my opinion. That leaves us with a lot of leftover money, which again, we put into our student loans, savings, we put money into missions, we support a couple missionaries back in the States, and then that leaves a lot of money left over for travel, which allows us to go and do all sorts of stuff and make videos for you guys. So hopefully that kind of gives you a better idea. Living in Japan, or rural Japan more in particular, can be expensive for some things. Getting to the airport, for example, can be very expensive and very time consuming. Just to go to, like say, Narita Airport for Kelly and I is around $400 to take the train. If we took the overnight bus, which there are options, and it is, it's very headache inducing. That typically costs us like half, but it's still $200 or so just to go to the airport to get a flight to get out of Japan. So some things are more expensive, but on average, it is pretty affordable. Again, compared to some other Asian countries, it might be more expensive. Obviously, Southeast Asia would be certainly more affordable. I'd also like to say that our standard of living is kind of taking some of the principles from Dave Ramsey and his course, Financial Peace University, and there are a lot of good principles in it that we're basing our lifestyle off of. We don't follow it religiously. We are not putting as much as we could into loans like we should be doing, but because we're living in Japan, we kind of feel like we're taking advantage of the opportunity that we have while we're here to travel. So hopefully this video hasn't been too long and will give you a better idea and understanding of what it's like financially living in rural Japan. Be sure to leave us a comment down below if there's anything I missed. I didn't talk about clothing or any sort of like medications you might have. But anyways, if there is something you have a question about, you want to know what it's like, let us know in the comments below and hopefully we can help answer that for you. As always, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and if you haven't already, please subscribe as we make new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.